welcome back to our segment of discussion. Well, it's the season to be jolly, it's the end of the year, and a great time to catch some leisure, some hospitality, and of course, some tourism. Today, we'll talk about what all the activities lined up for you in one of Abuja's most beautiful places when you talk about tourism. Please welcome my guest, Mr. Isaac. He's the general manager, Capital Club and
An apartment. Yeah.
Apartments. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
I have it here. It says annual Carol and guest forum, and it's taking off for tomorrow. What are the various activities that you have lined up for your numerous guests? Starting from this, I have in my hand here.
Yeah, well, from tomorrow, the 13th, we are having a Christmas carol at the poolside. And we decided this year to take the guests to the poolside because it's a newly renovated pool.
Wow.
And we want them to have the feelings of the pool. We are treating our guests, and the private sector, the government organization will be patronizing us from January up to this time. You see, it's a really time for us to thank God for keeping us up to this time, and for us to appreciate them, their patronage over this period. So we're taking them to the poolside to host them to Christmas Carol. We will ask them questions and interact with them.
Mm. I think a poolside Christmas carol will be very, very special indeed. What other activities do you have planned out? The Yuletide is going to be a long holiday all the way to January. What are your activities for your numerous guests and the dates if you have them?
Yes, from tomorrow, after the Christmas Carol, we're going to host them to Christmas party. Capital Club is known for the all-night sit-out at a place we call the Cactus Bar
Okay.
in the building. People who know us, who have been coming, they know it's a place people enjoy themselves, a sit-out. We're going to take our guests and our uh, corporate organizations to a party at the Cactus Bar uh, tomorrow after the Christmas Carol. And on Saturdays, they also know us for every Saturdays at the Cactus Bar for karaoke. So
Karaoke.
tomorrow, tomorrow on Saturday,
Saturday.
we are still going to host them to a karaoke night,
Wow.
which means from tomorrow till on the 1st of January, we have line activities for all our guests.
Mm,
That will be hosting
interesting.
them.
Capital Club is known for top-notch hospitality and is well sought after in Abuja.
That's
What do
right.
you do specially to treat your customers as king and keep them coming back?
Well, from the check-in, we always make sure we get close to our guest. It's when you get close to the guest that you know their feelings
Mm,
and you're able to make amends when you know what they want, that you'll be able to keep them. We don't just leave the guest like that. We ask them questions. We ask them to contribute. Because when they contribute, you know what they really want. And we make sure we make them to have value for their money. And by the checkout, we always interact with our guests to know how they feel. So doing this
and how
give
you
us
can
an
serve them
edge
better.
for them coming back to us always.
Mm, interesting. The hospitality business in Abuja is saturated. There are so many hospitality
So many hotels.
outlets
Yes, ma'am.
everywhere in town.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that distinguishing factor? What makes you stand out at the Capital Club?
Well, like I've said, we have been in the business for over time,
Okay.
and knowing how to manage the guest and manage the event of guest. When you do that, the guests they will always know. Knowing you for your word, I'll use that word.
Mm,
Knowing you for your word. When the guests knowing they know you for your word, they know that they will always get what they want when they come to you. They prefer using you.
mm. The Yuletide and the end of the year is a time for merrymaking,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
lot of eating and drinking. What are
Yes,
some
ma'am.
of the delicacies that guests can look forward to, especially those who are coming for the first time?
Well, um, right from our sit out, we have varieties.
Okay. African dishes,
African dishes,
intercontinental.
yes, we have grilled fish, we have chickens, that is local chickens at the sit out. We have African delicacies, nkwobi, isiewu, like that. We have many of them. And the continentals, we have chef that is good in continental. So these are varieties of things we have put together to make sure the guests enjoy their stay with us.
For those who may wish to come, especially coming for the first time, what would guarantee them access? Is there ticketing, or what do they have to do to gain access into Capital Clubs and apartment, especially first timers?
Yeah, like we don't do ticketing.
Okay.
Yes, it's a open, a open, it's a free place, though it's under a good security environment, well secured. So you come, you buy, and we are not doing ticketing. The
Okay.
foods are tagged, the drinks have prices and very good prices. Our prices are not outrageous. We're trying to key into the economy to make sure people are, yes,
Very important.
yes,
Very
because
important.
we want to behave as Nigerians, businessmen in Nigeria, so that we do it. People also will also have value for what they are spending, so that people can enjoy themselves.
Interesting. Now, oh, in all of this, your Capital Club, you're the one that will play host to this event. What should people look forward to?
Yeah, people should look forward to enjoy and have value for their money, to have varieties and have really, like I said, the new pool. I want guests to come and enjoy themselves there, enjoy our facilities, and make friends. The bottom of it, for we want to really appreciate our customers. There are a lot of things we want to put in place so that the customer will feel happy when they come
All
to
right,
visit.
there you have it. Capital Club is the place to look forward to as you celebrate the Yuletide this season. Why don't you make sure that you carry them along in all of your activities? Mark a place for them in that calendar today of yours. Finally, Mr. Isaac, before you leave, what is your final word to your customers, existing customers, and intending customers before we wrap up?
Yes, to all our existing customers and intending customers,
Mm.
we really say we appreciate you over this season for your patronage.
Patronage?
You really you were there for us.
Mm.
You spend your time, you spend your money, and we really want to appreciate you for coming, for using our facilities. We look forward that as you make merriment in this Yuletide, please play safe, keep yourself and enjoy yourself. Come over to Capital Club and Apartment and enjoy yourself with your families.
And
We
the
really want to host
safety is guaranteed.
the safety is guaranteed.
Mm.
Very safe environment. We want to take care of your kids, your young ones. Please bring them along. It's a place that will value children,
Oh, you have
will
a
value
children's
family.
segment,
Yes,
a
miss.
children's
Yes,
section.
we have garden where we
Wow.
host the children. We value children, we value family. We
Mm.
want really want to host your family. Want to host your family.
All right, we thank you very much. We wish you the very best and the
Thank you.
compliments of the
Thank you
season.
so much, madam.
There you have it. Make Capital Clubs and Apartments at Sokoro, Abuja a part of your family hangout for the Yuletide.
Yes.
Stay with us and good morning, Abuja. There is more when we come back from this short break. Welcome back. We're still on our discussion segment. Well, to me, low self esteem is a turn off and even a defect, if I do say so. So, up next, we're going to be discussing how to develop a healthy dose of good self esteem. I've got with me a personal development and success coach in the house with me right now. Please welcome Tracy Akpera.
Thank you
Good
so much.
morning.
Good morning. Good
You
morning.
do look beautiful and very confident.
Thank you so much. Self-esteem does that.
I can
A healthy
imagine.
dose of self-esteem does that.
All right, so how would you define self-esteem and what good does it really do?
Oh, self-esteem, it is the foundation of who we are. So, as in in the self-esteem, you need self-esteem because self-esteem basically talks to how you recognize how worthy or how valuable you see yourself. And everything that you do, everything, every relationship, every decision, and even the confidence that we're talking about, it starts from having that healthy dose of self-esteem where you see yourself as valuable, you recognize it. You don't need somebody to tell you, you recognize that you are of value and you are of worth. And then it translates into everything that you do in your relationships, in your decisions, in the things that you do, and in the things that you do not do because you recognize that you are meant for some things and not for
Right.
some things because you have that healthy dose of self-esteem. So very, very important.
Hmm, very. I like that you said in the things that you do not also do, the things
Yes.
you do not want to accept and
Yes.
conform to.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
I never
Yes.
thought about it that way.
Yes. Yes.
Right now,
Absolutely.
what are some of the indicators that this person here has low self-esteem?
Okay, first of all, you look down on yourself. There are many people that begin to see themselves that are not worthy of
Mm,
certain places, of certain people. You just feel like you are less than, and you should not be found in certain places because you just feel like you are not worthy, you are not valuable enough to be found in such places or with such people. Then you begin to watch it because something is lurking around, low self-esteem. And so to begin to build that very good dose of self-esteem, you need to begin to recognize your value, recognize your worth. Of course, there is no perfection anywhere, and I always say
mm,
that we are not on a journey of perfection. It's progress, process over perfection. So you need to recognize that who you are and your strengths. One key activity that you can easily do, and I like to say when I speak that you can pick actionable steps, actionable things that you can begin to do right now whenever you hear me speak. And one thing you can start to do right now, just take a piece of paper out and write your strengths. What are the things that you can think of as your strengths? When you begin to focus on the things that you are good at, the things that you can associate with strengths, then you begin to find that you are recognizing that you have value, you have worth. So one thing to do, begin to find out what are the things that I'm good at, what are my strengths. Don't we know nobody is perfect, and of course we're not pursuing perfection,
mm.
but you must have something. Everybody carries something.
Something.
Everybody carries something. So what is it? So you must recognize and you begin to actually itemize. Many times we do not think about these things. So you have some strength, but because you're not thinking about it, you don't actually know that, oh, this is what I'm capable of. But when we begin to think about them and then actually itemize them, you will find out that you are of value. You don't even need somebody else to begin
To
to tell,
validate
yes,
you.
to begin to validate you.
Would that be the reason some people develop imposter syndrome?
Yes, so when you are beginning to entering into a space where you are beginning to put your,
Exalted spaces.
yes, then you begin to feel like, okay, you are not worthy of this thing. But when you begin to build that self-esteem, then you find out that it doesn't matter. Nobody, you are not pursuing perfection, but that you can begin to actually key in on the things that are your strengths and begin to find out that you are worth it. Recognize that word. Another thing that we must do to build self-esteem is to silence that negative self-talk. Did you know that they say that research has it that a human being has an average of 50,000 thoughts a day, and
Okay.
that most of those thoughts are actually about yourself, and about 80% of those thoughts that you think towards yourself are actually negative thoughts. So it tells you that if you don't do something, if you are not careful, then you find out that you are overtaken by this negative self talk. So you begin to tell yourself, you begin to reframe some of those things. Oh, I'm not beautiful. Oh, I'm not this. How can you begin to reframe it? Begin to reframe those negative thoughts so that you are able to you are able to find yourself in, okay, I'm not this yet, but I can do this to become this. Oh, I'm not beautiful or whatever. Oh, but I have this. You now amplify the qualities that you do have, and then
Mm.
you silence that part of that negative self-talk.
Thought.
Yes. Another thing that one can do to build a healthy dose of self-esteem is to keep a promise to yourself. I think this is one of the most important things that one can do. When you keep a promise to yourself, you find out that you now feel, yes, you are capable, you are worthy, and then you can make bigger promises and keep to yourself. So, for instance, it can be something very simple. I see you have lovely books, and I love
Books.
to read.
Yeah.
I see you have books here. I love to read. Reading is one great thing to do. You can decide that, okay, I don't read, I don't like reading. Okay, keep a promise, make a promise to yourself and say, okay, maybe just 2 pages a day of
Okay.
any book. Okay, I want to do this, just 2 pages a day. And you know that by the time you've kept that promise to yourself, you get more motivation to push. And what you are doing, by the time you are keeping promises that you make to yourself, what you are building, whether you know it or not, is that you are
It's
building that self-esteem.
beautiful.
Very
I love
important.
that you said it's important to trust in the process
Yes,
and everything that comes with it. Tell us about failure. How can one deal with failure
I
and still
love
keep their self-worth?
I love that question. I
Hmm.
get it a lot. Many people allow
Because it
themselves to be,
happens.
yes. No, failure is going to be part of life. I think it was yesterday I was looking at an image, a picture, and it had this darts, this that thing that we throw darts.
That's
Yes, yes. And that center is the bull's eye where you
mm-hmm.
throw it and you get the most points. And they said in that thing I was looking at, it had the one that somebody was throwing and wasn't getting that bull's eye,
Bullseye.
and then he had another one that there was no trials at all. There were no trials at all. And so they now said that failure is not when you try and you miss. Failure is actually not trying at all.
Okay.
Failure is actually not trying at all. So many times, many people will shy away from the place of even trying
Hmm.
because we think that we can fail or we may fail. So to develop that self-esteem is to understand that failure is going to be a part of the process. But you must take failure, not that failure, okay, because I failed doesn't mean I'm a failure. It means I tried this thing, it didn't work.
Hmm.
Okay, so if I tried and it didn't work, what have I learned from this process? What can I do better as a result of what I've learned from this process? So the most important thing about failure is because failure is a part of the process. If you want to get, I mean, ask the guy that tried the electric bulb, right? They say he Edison.
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison failed and failed and failed, and then he kept at it. He didn't stop. I was thinking about Thomas Edison the other day. I was saying, what kind of a man?
What audacity.
What kind of a man does this thing 1,000 times and keeps going? I mean, then what excuse do we have? You do it one time, two times, three times. I mean, think of Thomas Edison. And so the ability to keep on trying, to not allow yourself to be defined by that failure is a very key point, key aspect of building your self-esteem. To understand that failure is a part of the process. In fact, I say failure is feedback.
Hmm.
What do you do with feedback?
Failure is feedback.
Failure is feedback.
I'm
What do
going
you
to
do?
update that one.
Failure is feedback. So what do you do with feedback? You take feedback, you learn from it, you go again. We go
Wow.
again. In fact, I like to say that we don't turn back. Personally, one of the things I tell myself is, like, Tracy, you are not going back. You are not staying here. You are moving
It's
forward.
all
On forward, forward. There's no going back. There's no staying stagnant. We are moving forward. And so that does not matter. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you won't. But then it's just part of the process. We take it as feedback and then we move
interesting.
forward.
Very nice. Can relationship with certain friends or family members, influence your self-worth?
I just love you, Nika, because you're asking questions. You're asking the
Well,
questions that
because I
are, yes,
personally want to
yeah,
know, and I'm
yes.
sure my viewer out there too.
You are just spot on. You are spot
Thank
on.
you.
We must protect our spaces because
Circles.
yes, it is very, 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 very important who you let into your circle,
Space.
who you let into your space. I think one of my friends, she loves to say that don't be a city without walls.
Hmm.
People just want to let, oh, I'm Mr. Nice, then you let people in all over into your space. So we have to protect our space because it does matter. Some people will come into your space and they pull down every bit of the self-esteem that you have struggled to build over time. They pull it all down. So we must be very, very careful. The more positive and inspiring people we have around us, the people that tell you, go, oh, Tracy, you didn't get it today. Go, girl, go. You can
Hmm.
do this. We all need those kind of people in our lives. It's very, very important that
Hmm.
we have them.
Finally, before I let you go, how can an individual plan their progress towards self-worth and self-esteem and sustain it there?
You must have a plan. One thing that we need as individuals, and I'm a personal development, personal success coach. I like to say that you must have a plan. Many of us grew up just anyway, anyhow, we just go, you just wake up anywhere, belle face, anything.
Down front.
No, 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 no. You must have a plan. You must have a daily plan. You must have a weekly plan. You must have a plan for. If I ask some people, give me 5 years. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So people are destabilized completely by
With
that
that
question.
question.
Yes. So you must have a plan, and that is what we do. We help people because we understand that it can be overwhelming. When you even say these things, it's of people like, where will I start? Or some say, I'm old. Where will I start from? But you can start today and right now and build a plan. Start with your day. How do you want your day to be like? It doesn't mean having a plan, and I've heard this question a lot. Having a plan doesn't mean that everything is going to go 100%. No,
Mm.
having a plan says that you have a structure you're holding on to, and even if something unexpected happens, you are able
Happens.
to pivot. And goes, okay, this happens. Okay, I move like this, and then at the end of the day, you're able to reassess, and then you're able to build a better plan
Mm.
even going forward. So a plan is very very important, and that is what we do. I have a community called the Advanced Lounge. It's an online community on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, and all that. And what we do is to equip people with the ability, with the resources and the tools to enable them to think, to plan, and to act. Many times people don't want to think. And because you're not thinking, you can't plan. And because you're not planning, you can't take action. So what my community does, the Advanced Lounge, is to enable people, to equip them with the resources, the tools, and the support to enable them to think, to plan, and to take action, because the results follow the action.
Hmm. I've been so educated. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thank you
coming.
so
And I
much,
hope I'll see
Neke.
you again soon.
It will be my absolute delight.
What more can I say? Life can be beautiful. Life can be impactful if we develop that healthy dose of self worth and self esteem today. It's still Good Morning Abuja on the Unity Station. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. But I don't know who else has observed that the rate of divorces has been, recently astronomical. We don't know what causes it or not. Well, up next, I have a guest in the studio who will help me to x-ray this very, very important burning issue. Let's welcome my guest. He's an expert in marriage law, Barrister Malaki Webe. Good
Th-
morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's start by telling us what you think, in your opinion, is responsible for the high rate of divorce cases recently.
Well, before we go to the causes, it's good to know what divorce is really all about.
Okay.
Divorce has to do with dissolution or termination of marriage. And marriage is a legal union between a man and a woman to the exclusion of any other person. This is without prejudice to other countries that have legalized same-sex marriage. And in that case, it can be between a man and a man, between a woman and a woman. But within the Nigerian context, it is a marriage or union between a man and a woman. So divorce has to do with dissolution of this marriage or termination of the marriage. It can be customary marriage. It can be statutory marriage, where a common man will call court wedding. It
Okay.
can also be Islamic wedding. So all is marriage within the context of our law. So you find out that if you go to the customary courts, let's use FCT, you go to some Sharia courts, you go to the FCT High Court, you see so many matrimonial cases. Matrimonial cases, I mean, marriage-related cases, more especially divorce.
Mm.
So the major cause of this divorce, which is not even within the context of the grounds for dissolution of marriage. The
It's not
major,
enough.
yes, the major cause is economic factor.
Oh.
Economic factor. You know how the economy is? When the husband is no longer providing as he used to be, the wife will get offended. When the woman now carries most of the responsibilities, when the pressure is too much on the man. So you say he's not providing for this, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And the next is social media, the influence of social media.
Mm. How is that?
Let me give you an instance. I have a case came to my office. We tried to resolve a couple in their dispute. The woman is complaining that the husband goes out, comes back late. Sometimes he will come, he say a woman's cloth, something like that. And the husband say, look, whenever I come home, my wife will use her phone, be precious. She doesn't talk to me. She doesn't relate with me. Sometimes she will have video conversation
With other
with
people.
friends, male friends. And the
Oh.
woman and the lady will say, it doesn't matter. So you see that when couple came in, each is glued to his or her phone.
Mm.
And the intimacy, there is no intimacy again in the marriage. You don't give your husband attention. The man doesn't give the wife attention. You are pressing your phone, listening to videos in the social media,
Mm.
conversing with friends outside the family, and the intimacy is not there. And when there is no intimacy, every slightest thing will provoke. You have problem. But under section 15 of Matrimonial Causes Act,
Mm.
which provides the grounds for dissolution of marriage, you will find out that some of these factors, these economic factors, social media, external interference, which is being instigated or escalated by the social media, these are not the grounds for dissolution of marriage. So you find out that couples come to court or approach lawyers, please, I want to dissolve this marriage. What is the problem? They will start giving reasons that are not even within the context and contemplation of Section 15 and Section 16 of the Matrimonial Causes Act, which provide the grounds or reasons to dissolve a marriage.
Mm.
You get the
Interesting.
point I'm making? Yes. So, and some of these problems are problems that could easily be resolved between the couple. Let me give you an instance, a case we handle. In fact, one was on social media. A couple came for marriage dissolution proceedings in court, and they wore uniform,
Both of them.
both of them. And the judge looked at them and said, leave this girl, you are not serious. You see a couple
Seems like
having,
you still have a common ground.
yes, you see a couple uh, passing through matrimonial causes, as in dissolution proceedings in the court. Along the line, the woman will take in also to the man. And they say that's it. They
In
say
the
they want. Yes, in
process.
the process. I've resolved many marriages after even being put in the court. We still resolve it and are still living together.
Hmm. Do
Under
you think there's intolerance somewhere in the
yes,
mix?
intolerance and when there is no intimacy, that's the point I'm trying to make. And this intimacy can be a result of economic factor.
Hmm.
If your husband is not living up to expectation economically, or if your wife is not living up to expectation within her role as a wife, these things trigger some anger that will now say, let us go and divorce. But you find
Hmm.
out once the anger subsides, they will still come back and begin to live normal life
Together.
to the extent of even consummating the marriage,
Hmm.
to take in, to wear uniform, yet they are in court. Because this is a case that they instigated, they instituted when there was passion, there was anger. And when the passion subsides, they will still come back to realize themselves. Sometimes they will no longer go to court. Sometimes they will take in. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
it. So you see that some of the reasons that lead to these common rampant cases of divorce are not within the contemplation of the law. These
Hmm.
are just minor issues.
Trivial.
And let me give one instance, one. Because of this social media, because of economic factor, if your husband is not providing as he used to be, the affection is no longer there. If you glue to your phone, watching videos and social media posts, you will not give your husband the necessary attention. And now this man may have a side chick somewhere
Hmm.
that will give him
Such.
the attention he needs. Before you know it, the woman will start accusing him. I saw him with so man. He comes back late. But when he comes home, do you give him the attention? The same applies to the man. You get the point I'm making?
Hmm.
So, and this lack of intimacy as a result of economic factors and social media influence reduces the propensity of the couple to consummate the marriage.
Hmm. Gotcha.
Yes. And when you don't consummate that marriage, when there is denial of conjugal rights, because if you go to section 15, subsection 2, one of the first ground for dissolution of marriage is denial of conjugal rights,
From any of the
if any of the
parties.
parties, because it's an obligation. And in African context, Sometimes when we have the required number of children we expect, we say no, we feel that conjugal relationship is all about procreation. When you stop bearing children, you feel that sex is no longer
Interesting.
needed. But this is one of the glues to see the marriage and keep going,
Hmm.
whether economic factor or not.
Let me ask you this. A lot of people have opined that quality communication, is very vital to keeping couples together, or the absence of it can lead very quickly to divorce. What can you
Yeah,
tell me about
you are on the
this?
same page with me. Quality communication or lack of it. What causes that lack of quality communication if it is not?
Mm.
It is still this lack of intimacy, it's still this social media issue, it's still this economic factor. Because there is something that leads to that poor quality communication or no communication at all. You get me?
Mm.
Yes. So you see, it is interwoven. And let me tell you, for couples who contemplate divorce or who have already divorced, it affects the children
Wow.
psychologically and otherwise.
Okay.
And let me tell you another factor that contributes to divorce, especially our within the religious setting, is the type of marriage we contract.
The type.
Yes,
Okay.
you see some couple they contract customary marriage, and I want you to know within
Is
both
that the one you refer to as traditional?
traditional wedding,
Okay. Okay.
traditional marriage
Okay.
in law we call it customary marriage
Oh, I see.
because it's marriage under custom.
Okay.
Under our corpus juris Nigeriana, that's a copy of Nigerian laws or a body of Nigerian laws. Custom is part of our laws.
Okay.
And this custom is on the same pedestal with Sharia law.
Wow.
So customary marriage, every customary marriage or Islamic marriage is
Potentially.
potentially polygamous, because there is no restriction. If I'm married under customary wedding, under customary marriage, I am entitled or free to marry more. The same applies to Sharia or Islamic marriage.
Okay.
But in statutory marriage, once you are married to that person, you cannot
Have another.
have another. But you find that I was in court somewhere in Kaduna during my time of youth service, and I saw that uh, divorce was so common. And I asked the judge, he told me, look, in your own side of Nigeria, Christianity came more than 100 years ago, but our own is not up to 50 years. So people are already used to that customary and Islamic wedding, which allows them to marry more than one. But because they don't want to violate their religious faith, Christian faith and the statutory wedding, when they see another woman and that potential polygamy is in them,
Mm.
they will want to divorce that
Mm.
statutory wedding for them to be free to go for another one.
We could go on and on, but for
Yes,
want of time, quickly
yes.
before we go, what can you say to couples who are struggling with themselves? Especially some people say that the first few years of marriage is usually turbulent. They're trying to get to know each other and understand themselves. How can they make it work? How can couples make it work in marriage?
Well, I believe that before marriage is consensual,
Okay.
is a voluntary engagement, is like a contract. And before you enter into marriage, there is always consent, consensus added them. Even in the Bible, Amos chapter 3, verse 3 says, can two work together except
Except
they
they
agree?
agree.
So before you consent to marrying this man or this woman, you must have studied this man to say, okay, I accept your character, I want to. So if in the course of the marriage, you now experience any hitches, try to fall back to the time before you consented. You have
Mm.
accommodated him, characteristic and otherwise. So try to manage any eventuality within the course of the marriage,
Mm.
so that you don't allow minor things, economic factors, social media influence to trigger the relationship, to affect the relationship. Manage it, because Even the devil you know is better than the
Then
angel
the
you
angel
don't
you
know.
do not know.
So
Thank
you may
you.
divorce your wife or your husband, you go for another person, you see continuous divorce in one man or one woman. So try to manage. And if you don't do that, your children, because even in law, even in court, before you, dissolution of marriage, the custody of children, the interest of children is paramount because that divorce will affect your children
Mm. Thank you
very
so much.
seriously.
Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We've been educated and we hope to see you again soon. Well, what more can I say? We hope we've educated someone out there to know that they can hang in there and that better days will always be ahead. Stay with us in Good Morning Abuja. There is more. We'll take a short break now and we'll continue.